Welcome back to the Loveland Report and the Lone Ranger Show. I am Cleve Loveland, Central Florida's best real estate planner, alongside Bruce Woodburn, the Lone Ranger. We've talked about inventory being up, actually shifting towards a buyer's market in Central Florida. I think that's short-lived. Sellers, don't panic. Buyers, get out there now because it won't. That's short-lived also. Rates are coming down, but you're marrying the house, you're dating the rate. So, Bruce, I want to dive into median home value. I got a little chart here I found. I was looking up, Central Florida is number 17 most expensive states. We were like 21 before COVID.
Okay.
And everybody moving here moved us up. Median price around $390 on that chart. That's all of Florida. Median price in 1995, $110,000. 1999, $130,000. 2003, $170,000. 210,000 in 07. 2011, it dropped from 210 back down to about 150, 160.
That was during the recession.
Starts climbing back up. 210 in 2015. 275,000 in 19 before COVID, 370 in beginning of COVID, or excuse me, after the COVID run up. And right now we're around 400. Now that's a nationwide on that. So if you don't own real estate, you're never going to be a rich renter. So get some real estate now, call Bruce, get fast track, get out there, start looking, figure out what you need to do. And you need, it can be a process. It's not hard, but you can say, Bruce,
not hard at all.
You give them, hey, do this on your credit cards, close this. No, actually, usually you probably don't tell them to close accounts. You say, pay this down.
I don't close accounts. I give you a complete rundown of what you need to do to get your score.
There's no app out there that's right to get your credit score up. They're selling your data.
I will tell you this much. If you are trying to improve your credit on your own, you are going to make mistakes and you will do things that you did not think would hurt you, like paying off accounts or closing them completely. Do you realize that can hurt your credit rather than improve it? So there's strategies to that. And we use algorithms and we use simulators to be able to run credit so that people know exactly what they need to do to improve their credit. I had a client recently, they called me, it was a week before closing, Cleve, and they called me to go, Bruce, I got some money from grandpa and I paid off 2 of my credit cards. And I'm like, you did what? I didn't want you to pay those cards off. Those were great credit. They were doing great on that. It dropped their score by 59 points, changed their interest rate, changed their closing costs, changed everything. And then this is something that the consumer would think would be good. And it would make sense that it would be good. But the credit bureaus don't read it that way. So you have to understand how that's played. Call the Lone Ranger and I'll fix that for you, tell you how to do it. But you know what I'm doing right now? I'm really focused on a segment of the market that is super duper responsible. They have great credit. They have money to put down and they are just looking for the best possible.
Is that a single income, no kids, or a dink?
No, it's just somebody that they're not struggling with their credit. Their income's easy to identify. They've got money to put down. And it doesn't mean you have 20%. You could have 3 or 5%, but your debt ratios are low. Your credit scores are high. And
a unicorn. They're out there. There's not a lot of them, but
we might call them a unicorn, but they're really not. There's a lot of people that are financially responsible. And some people think they're financially responsible. What do you think? If I said good, better, great, what would a good credit score be?
750,
720. Okay. That's a decent score. What would a better credit score be to get a better interest rate?
I think, is that the 750 break?
That'd be about 750. And then over 760 is all considered the same. I don't care if you're 800, 838, whatever it is. Anything over 760 is excellent credit.
Yep.
So you have no blemishes. But somebody with great credit still might have a high debt ratio. Just because you have great credit doesn't mean your debt ratio. So if you've got low debt ratio, high credit, and you have your own money to put down, I have loan programs that will fit your needs and you will not need to shop all over the country. You can if you want, but you're going to get the best of the very best right here with the Lone Ranger. Pick up the phone and call me at 407-250-9144. That's 407-250-9144. Or get your application started right now at WeBringYouHome.com. Cleve, what else you got there, buddy?
Well, I want to talk about my staging checklist and we'll talk about rental property for a second. But I go into homes and I'd say it's funny. Before I even meet these people, Bruce, I'm saving them thousands of dollars. You know, I had one the other day, thought they needed to redo the tile floors because it was the old 12 by 12 tiles, which are out now. And, you know, shoot, they're up to 4 and 5 foot tiles now. So
4 and 5 foot tiles.
They are, yeah, 48 by 48. Yeah.
How do you even move? That's like a slab of granite.
Oh, let me guess. Yeah, and the tile guys. You think the tile guys would charge less because
gosh, no.
There's less tile they charge more because they got to level it.
And I'll tell you why they charge more, because it's really hard to get them flat.
Yep, level.
Yeah.
So they got to use a laser. Anyway, but those types of things, when I have most of my sellers maybe spend 1% of the price of the home or 2%. And sometimes I do those repairs. Like I'll do carpet for somebody that's tight on cash. I'll do the paint job. And that's something I do. I can back up what I say and say, this is what we need to do on the staging. And this is our price. And it's just, I see some people, you know, they're not told these things. The house looks like a crime scene. I take over the listing after somebody else had it. It literally looks like a frat party happened the night before. And that's the pictures on MLS. Or you can't see the front of the house because the trees and shrubs haven't been trimmed in 10 years. I had one that was lakefront, couldn't see the lake.
Oh boy.
And it was a ski lake.
You got the thing that gives you the most value, and yet you have no view of it.
You know how the scrub will grow and things like that if you just let it go unchecked. And it literally, it was a $3,000, like $3,500 job to clear that 60 foot of lakefront.
Yeah, but it probably gave them 10, 20.
It was $1 million view. Oh God. We actually listed for more than they were listed before, fixed a couple other things in the house, spent about 10 grand total, relisted for 30 grand more, and got multiple offers. So it's all about knowing what you're doing and what's the best bang for your buck on staging. And I've got a free 50-point staging checklist. If you need to talk about it, call me at 407-352-8118. And I want to
Cleve, people have to listen to you. And I've heard you before talking to a client that you're trying to help them. You're giving them all the pointers on how to get them the most. And yet they are their own worst enemy. They're getting in your way of helping them, but they don't see it. Right. How do you handle that? Like,
the seller's going to do what they do. I mean, that's why there's no one book. You don't just buy a book on real estate or how to get a mortgage, because there's all these emotions tied up in it. That's why you and I have jobs to help consult with these people and help them plan what they need to do and what really works. And you and I have seen what really works and what doesn't work.
Absolutely. We do every day.
You know, I can sometimes, and it's funny, I've been doing this so long and sold thousands of homes. I'll see, you know, like where I'm like, why did you remodel the whole house?
Right.
Oh, well, the realtor's husband was a contractor. And the listing didn't sell after 9 months, you know, and I'm like, well,
or you're not going to get the money out of it anyway. And then the new buyer is going to change your colors and everything else.
But that realtor's long gone, you know, but yet their husband made a bunch of money off of them. So it's got to be careful with who you're choosing. Make it simple. Just call us. On rental properties, Bruce, though, it was a shame. I want to ask you about the best way to buy rental properties after this, but I just went into 2 houses, trashed, yards trashed, inside. And I say trash, this one, it needed a paint job. Same tenants for a long, long time. That's usually a big no-no. My tenants stay about 2 or 3 years, then life happens. But you got a tenant that's dug roots in a house, I guarantee you they're paying $1,200 rent when they should be paying $2,200.
Oh, for sure.
So there's ways to handle that. If you've got one of those, I can handle that.
Well, you and I have been teaching people how to buy rental properties, maintain them, how to get the best tenant, how to negotiate the purchase, and how to amass wealth for retirement, because we set up the Leapfrog program where we're helping people learn how to become investors, because most of them, they're hearing it from a friend that flipped the house. Like, I had a lady come to my class the other day. It was a first-time home buyer class. She says, I'm here for flipping information. I'm like, this is not a flipping class. Yeah. This is a first-time home buyer class. But she came to
everybody likes the quick get rich quick, scheme.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they came for the food. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but I mean, that's the thing. And you and I have seen that long-term buy and hold investors, they have more money than flippers. You know, the TV shows are great. I'm like, well, if you're so rich, why are you borrowing money at 10% and you have $70,000 in holding costs on that home
I think very few flippers make good money.
Yeah.
The ones that have their own construction crews,
yes,
are the ones
that do the work themselves,
make the most money. Right.
And I've got one friend who does make great money, but he's kept half his flips because he couldn't get out what he wanted. So he's a landlord too, and he makes more money off that than he does on his flips. So, in fact, customer of yours, my good friend Harry. So there's different ways to do it, but I think the buy and hold is much easier, and the leapfrogging out of your primary, buy your next primary.
But it's a get rich slow. It's not a get rich quick. But it's not sexy to say get rich slow.
Yep.
but it works.
Yep.
It truly does work. You know, you don't build an empire overnight. You build an empire over a period of time.
Yeah.
And if you just plant the seeds and continue with the process, and what you and I look for is continuing with the process, just keep doing it. Don't lose momentum. Don't lose traction. We try to get our folks that are in that program to buy every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Buy a primary and use the current primary as an investment.
And then they're putting
property.
down 3.5% if they're FHA.
Yeah,
they can only have
5%
one FHA
conventional,
though, right?
That's
5%
right.
conventional. But you don't you have a 3% conventional?
I have a 3% conventional
Don't
program,
you have
but
another...
you can do that on your first one. You can't continue to do that.
I didn't know that on the you always are educating
unless
me on
your
these things.
income reach is below a certain point, then you can get into a My Community.
We help you with the budget on how to do this when you have rental property. I help you with right types of tenants. What does management, and you know, knock on wood, Bruce, I've done I think 5 evictions in 30 years.
Yeah, I haven't done that many. I'm telling you, I've had amazing.
Well, I've done
success.
thousands of leases though, but you haven't. Yeah, but
you've
just,
done a lot.
But the main thing is the
property
qualification process. And when I send them 2 pages of rules, the tenants, they're like, "Oh, we're not getting away with anything here." Like we literally have 10 people say, "I'm going to be at that house Saturday," when we send them our rules and how they got to pay, and there's a big late fee, and this is our rules, and this is our pet deposits and pet fees, and this is how the game's going to be run. And they like only 3 people show up out of 10. And those are the ones you want. That's the cream of the crop. Those are the best renters.
So I taught a class earlier this week, a first-time home buyer class. You know, it was funny because I almost canceled the class because I only had like 5 people attending. I canceled the class. I had to all call up, and I had 8 more attendees come. I took 4 loan applications in one class, and it was absolutely phenomenal. But one of the people they really wanted down payment assistance, but they made too much money. And they had gone to one of the other local companies. I think it was FBC or one of the other local mortgage lenders in town. Good lender. I don't have anything bad to say about him. But the loan officer really was steering her away from any type of assistance programs because it's more work for the lender. But you know what? It's not about me. It's about you. And I'm like, well, I've got 3 programs that you'll fit within right now. So she's jumping ship, coming over to me, and we're going to get her fixed up. We've even got a $6,000 grant that we give you that's forgivable. So why, even if you don't qualify for some traditional down payment assistance, maybe there's something that's non-traditional that you'll qualify for. Or maybe we can get the seller to pick up the closing costs and avoid getting down payment assistance. And you have to realize there's a yin and a yang to everything, right? So when it comes to down payment assistance, I want to heed caution to many of you listening to me right now. If you expect to refinance at some point in the future when rates drop, do you think everybody is thinking that?
Yeah,
of course they are. You will not be able to do that without paying back your down payment assistance. So now, if you got $15,000 in down payment assistance and you don't have the $15,000 to pay the down payment assistance off next year, you are going to be stuck with the loan that you have. So what you want to do is see if there's another alternative, and we explore those options for people. That's what we do here at Cross Country Mortgage, the Loan Arranger. Keep in mind, not all Cross Country Mortgages are the Loan Arranger. You must go directly to the Loan Arranger at webringyouhome.com or call or text. This is not a call center number, 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. We got 1 minute, Mr. Loveland. What else?
All right. Well, we talked about the inventory. Now's the time for buyers to jump in. We talked about how prices are still rising. Talked about rates are going to get better. The Trump effect's going to take a little bit time.
It's already taken effect.
It has slightly, and so we'll see more of that. But if you want to make a real estate plan, call me. Mom and dad going into assisted living. One passed away. Call me. I'll help you with that house. Should you rent it? Should you buy it? Excuse me, sell it? You're getting ready to buy a home. Where should you buy? What should you buy? Should you rent the old house? Should you leapfrog? All these things. You got properties rented, and you're tired of chasing tenants for rent. Call us. Loveland Properties will take care of that. Cleve Loveland, 407-352-8118.
That's right. Cleve Loveland is the voice of real estate here in the Orlando area, and the Loan Arrangers right here in your backyard. Top producer in the country and right here for you. You can call me on a direct number at 407-250-9144. Again, that's 407-250-9144 or webringyouhome.com. God God bless each and every one of you. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it. And thank you so much for listening. Tune in tomorrow at 11 o'clock for the Lone Ranger Show. Cleve will be my guest.